Welcome back to part 2 as we continue our visit of the St. Charles County Veterans Museum, where we are going to now turn it over to Jim so he can tell us those heartwarming stories about our St. Charles County veterans. Thank you, Jim. Jim, if you could, go ahead and tell us some of those unique stories.
Sure, Lance. This here is the story of Andrew Rankin. Andrew graduated from a local high school around in the area and was over in Vietnam. He took this envelope apart to scratch a letter back to his mom and dad, talked about what he called the stinking war, and said, "Don't worry about me, Mom and Dad. If anything happens to me, I know I'll be with God, and I'll see you again." Well, it turns out this is the last letter that Andrew wrote home. Later in the month, he stepped on an explosive device and he was killed. The medics tried to save him. This is a letter from his commander, that says, "We lost Andrew today," and giving his sympathy to his parents. The family, of course, was devastated, and we got these artifacts from his 16-year-old brother. Gave us these artifacts, and he said, "I want you to display it in the museum and talk about Andrew." He said, with one stipulation, "I want you to, this little strip of pictures from Andrew in one of those photo machines, I want you to show people this, because this is the goofy brother that I remember, and this is my brother this is my brother as I saw him through my eyes."
How nice.
I remember.
Yes. Jim, if you could, go ahead and tell us a little bit about this wall.
Sure. This wall was dedicated in August of 2019, and the dog tags up here represent the roughly 105 veterans from St. Charles County that gave the fullest measure in 5 wars. We got World War I, II, Korean War, Vietnam, and of course Persian Gulf. Here's an example of Peter Westhoff here, happened to be the first veteran killed in the air from the area in World War I. In World War II, here we got Clay Schulte. Here is one of the very first local residents that was killed in World War II. In Vietnam, we got another local boy here, Mr. Morris, John Robert Morris, and he was a B-52 pilot.
Wow.
And he was an operation linebacker too. He was shot down, his 4 crew. They survived, but he was killed. His body was later recovered in 1977.
Wow.
So each one of these dog tags, each one of these people, are residents of the area, and our charge, our mission here at the museum is tell the stories of these guys and make sure that they're remembered forever.
Jim, just in the short time that I've been here, you and your team and all the board should be very proud, because that's exactly what you do. I know just being here today and sharing their stories, as many of their family wanted to, I feel very honored to be a part of this. So thank you for allowing us to do this, and thank you for sharing their stories.
You're welcome, Lance. I mean, that is our charge here, is when people bring us in stories about their loved ones, their veterans, is we're going to preserve these stories and tell all the visitors a story about their loved one, their veteran.
Thank you. And thank you to all the veterans out there. And if you will, again, one more time, please go out there and share their story, share their name, whatever you're inclined to do, because today is about them. Thank you, veterans.